It's the Fellowship of the Geek Show, a weekly podcast about comics, the comic book industry, and other geek pop culture. Music courtesy of Manny the Martyr. And now, on with the show!
Hey there, everybody. It's the Fellowship of the Geeks podcast. My name is Thomas Chick, and joining me for this episode is Mike Marlowe.
Hey, gang.
Les Webster.
Hello, all.
And Liz Newman.
Hello, everybody.
How are you guys doing?
Peachy.
Good response, eh?
Present and accounted for.
Me, I'm tired of the freaking cold.
Man, I wish I'd thought of that one. That would have been a much better response than mine.
Yeah.
And true.
Hope everybody's doing okay out there. So what's been going on in your corner of the galaxy?
Oh, man. I'm trying to think what I did.
Oh, boy.
I did watch I don't know how new it is, but it's a special on Netflix, maybe? Either Netflix or Hulu, but it's called Why Women Kill. It's on Paramount. It was on neither of them. It's on Paramount.
It's one of those.
Not sure this is the kind of research you need to be doing either. I'm just saying.
Right. Well, I thought I had heard about it.
Attention, Phil.
She's taking notes for alibis. That's what she's doing.
Well, on the Crime ID channel on TV, they have one called, I think it's called When Women Kill. So I think when I saw this one, I kind of wrote it off as that. And yeah, I know we can be crazy. We can be pushed to our limits. But I was scrolling through Twitter the other day, and there was a clip of Jennifer Goodwin.
Yeah, remember that when my turn comes up.
And it was a really good clip, so it kind of brought me to this. But it only has 2 seasons so far. I don't know, like I said, I'm not sure how new this is. Not too new, so that's probably all they're going to have is the 2 seasons. But the first season was really good because it breaks it down into 3 different time periods. It was the 60s, the 80s, and 2019, I think it was. And it was 3 different stories going on, and the only thing in common, other than cheating husbands, that their stories had in common was the house. So that kind of tied all the stories together, and a whole lot easier to follow than you think it would be, But after the first season ended, the second season was just one story, or I should say one time period, because there was a couple of stories going on, which all was in the main story. So these characters all interacted with each other and stuff, but had their own drama going on. So it wasn't as interestingly done as the first season, I thought. And the story was kind of meh. I think the second season was also set in the 60s, and she's trying to get into a garden club, and it kind of gets ruthless. And it, like I said, second season kind of lost me. So even if there was a third season, I may not have watched it just because of what they did to the second season. But it wasn't bad. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't bad. It just wasn't what they gave us in the first season. I kind of liked that style, that, I don't know how to describe it. But,
so
yeah.
You didn't pick up any hints, right?
No. No, because these women all did it wrong.
You learn what not to do.
Right.
Well, that's an
a
important
couple
thing.
of them ended in getting caught, so it's kind of no, don't do that. But yeah, and in like the second season, it was just a matter of time before she got caught. But she, spoiler alert, she did eventually get caught. And for me, it just took way too long for them to get there. But she was married to a veterinarian. And, of course, he put animals to sleep and gave them a really beautiful death and blah, 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 blah. But he was also what I would call like an angel of mercy, who, if people were like really sick, he would go to their house and he'd kill them. Some of these people wanted to die, but not all of them did, so it wasn't, I can't really say it was assisted suicide, but he took them on before they got too bad. So wife finds out about it and she starts just killing to kill, and yeah, so it's kind of like a different, yeah, I don't know, it's kind of crazy. Like I said, the first season was definitely better than the second. But I've been watching Ozark, and it got a little dark. Now, this is me saying that, but it got a little dark there for a while. And the way I watch things, since I watch, multiple episodes at a time and everything else, I kind of had to step away for a minute. So
Wow.
This is what I stepped away to.
Oh, yeah, much lighter subject.
Yeah. They list this as a comedy series, which to me, yeah, I
Which
guess,
one?
the Why Women Kill,
Oh,
not
okay.
Ozark. Ozark, like I said, at one point I was watching it before the show too. There's a priest whose wife had a baby cut out of her stomach. She's gone, of course, but they left this baby for him. Well, he takes it down to the lake, and you think he's drowning this baby, and that's what I'm thinking. Oh, dear God, I can't freaking watch him murder a baby. Turns out he was baptizing the baby, but he kept that baby under the water just a little too uncomfortably long. And this is coming from a Pentecostal preacher's daughter, okay? So, but yeah, it's just things like that it's just kind of like, oh, I need to refresh my brain a little bit here, So, it is good, though, because anything nowadays that they can put out that, is even remotely scary or horrified, is good in my books. But it has a lot of death in it. But other than that, that's really all I've been doing. I've been watching that and still working on my pictures and stuff, so not a lot.
Dang, really?
Yeah.
Guys, can you imagine our pictures with the word red rum written on them?
Easily.
Can you imagine them without it? Is the question.
I moved over to scenery, so.
Oh, so it's where did I hide the body pictures?
Yeah.
Okay.
When I'm gone, people can go, oh, okay, I know this place.
Uh-huh.
Hey, look, it's the Overlook Hotel.
I wondered where he went.
He's in the labyrinth. There you go.
Oh man. Jeez.
Follow that, Mikey.
I am in no way prepared. I'm used to having a lot more time to think about this. No, I'm kidding. I watched a documentary, and it's actually it's a little odd because it's actually I watched the first part of a 3-parter, and this is like a feature length film. I mean, it was like an hour and 40. And it's pretty much it's really interesting. It's okay. I need to stop trying to think of something to say and just say something. It's called Time Warp: The Greatest Cult Films of All Time.
Let's do the time warp again.
Probably not. Probably surprising no one. Rocky Horror Picture Show is the first movie they talk about.
Ah,
Because
cool.
like I said, this is a 3-volume thing. I only watched volume 1. Volume 1 is called Midnight Madness because it's midnight movies.
Mm.
And yeah, the movies, there's some wild stuff, and this documentary, this is the real thing. They do a delightful job of discussing these movies and what they mean in terms of their cult status and all of that stuff. And they've got some really impressive interviews. They talk. I mean, they've got stars from these movies in these things, and directors and historians for the older stuff. And there's a bunch of stuff. I mean, one of the panel they have hosting it, and my assumption is that they're gonna cover all 3 movies, all 3 of these documentaries. They've got Joe Dante, Ileana Douglas, Kevin Pollak, and John Waters. And I have made no bones about how I feel about John Waters in a documentary. It was real easy for them to cover Pink Flamingos, we'll put it that way. Real easy, because they just handed him a microphone and let him go. And he did the whole thing. But yeah, they've got, like, from Rocky Horror, and I mean, they spend significant amount of time. They covered 10-ish, I don't remember exactly what the list was, of movies. And this is a 100-minute documentary. So they're spending some time on these things, and they're talking to people. Like from Rocky Horror, they talked to Barry Bostwick. They talked to the ladies who played Columbia and I'm blanking. Magenta. Yeah, I mean, they had Jeff Bridges in here for The Big Lebowski.
Huh.
And given the time frame, that they brought in Gary Busey to talk about, I think it was Point Break. That was fun because this was made in 2020. So it's
Heavy Metal one of them?
Heavy Metal was not one of these, though. Shit, what's the name of it? Turn it up to 11. I'm totally blanking on the name.
Spinal Tap.
Spinal Tap. This is Spinal Tap. Is one of them. It just.
11.
Why don't you just make it so? Because they showed that clip. Why don't you just make it? Why don't you just boost the power on it and just turn it up to 10? But this one goes to 11.
This is 11, yeah.
So yeah, this is I like I said, I will keep you apprised when I get to the second and third ones, which I will do as soon as I can, because this one was just greatness. It was just a lot of fun. They covered these movies. They talked to Pam Grier about Coffee and Foxy Brown. All kinds, it's just wild. There's just a bunch of stuff, and it's a lot of fun and very informative. And I highly recommend them. And I believe I watched this. I believe they're all on Tubi. So easy access.
Pretty cool.
Hello, Cleveland. Rock and roll. Cool.
That does sound like fun.
Mm-hmm. It does.
Alrighty. Anything else?
Not for me, no.
Okay. Let's
I spent a lot of my time on YouTube, and I was mainly looking at the Mike and Joelle site.
That's some good stuff there.
Huh?
That's some good stuff there.
That is some great stuff.
Oh, were you the one that kept posting those on Discord?
I posted one or two.
I brought that large set to the one of the channels for us, yeah.
Yeah.
Discord, on Discord.
Cool.
Yeah.
Those are so just fun because personally, I think she is adorable.
Yeah, that's what makes it. I mean, the jokes are funny, but her reactions to them are, what makes it better.
That's what I kind of look for in those segments. I want to see what her reaction is, and of course to see if the joke is even funny. And usually he finds good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a site that I recommend. Just sit back and enjoy it because they are amusing.
Did you see the one I posted in our personal Discord about estrogen?
Yes, I did.
That's funny.
Yeah.
And of course, her reaction to it is great. Yeah. I agree with you. That's what makes the clips. The jokes are funny, but her responding to them, it's great. So I
heard the one about the child playing with this train.
Yes.
I think that was genius. That was just too funny.
And the 2-hour delay.
Yes.
Yes.
But that's about what I've been doing.
Mm.
Nothing special.
Well, I'm continuing my trek on YouTube. I kind of fell down a rabbit hole that after a day or two, I was like, okay, I'm tired of this. I need to move away. It started off with these compilation of videos of women just going insane after being basically dumped by the boyfriend, and how they respond to it. And it's just some of those were scary. Some of those are incredibly scary, how they responded to it. And then several of them dealing with and I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but there's 2 or 3 channels on there that are dealing with some of this stuff. They're very anti-women. It's just the attitude that they're throwing out there. Several videos of women cheating and how they get caught and all that type of stuff. It's just like I said, some of them were very. You could tell that there was a little bit of an agenda, and it's like I kind of have a problem with that. But and then that kind of led into, and there were some more clips of men finding out that their kids are not their kids.
Yep.
Now, some of these I think were staged, and anything Morty was probably staged. I don't know. But there was one video, and it was an older gentleman. I would say he's in his 60s or so, because he talked about having a son who was 42 and another son who was 40, and both of them are like deadbeat, good for nothing pieces of shit. And he was talking about his brother needing a kidney, so they were doing testing to find out if they were compatible and all that. He finds out that not only are both sons not his, but they're two different dads.
Oh, man.
From 40 years ago.
Yes.
Wow. Is the mom still in the picture?
He didn't mention mom, so I'm assuming mom's no longer
Not
with
anymore.
us.
Well, not after that, but right.
Not after that episode, but moving on.
Well, well, the thing is he talked about the fact that he is a lawyer, so he was talking about possibly suing him to get the money back. I'm like, I don't know how that's going to work, but you can try. Good luck. But man,
That'd be rough.
yeah. But I will mention this one Maury clip, because it just, couple shows up there. He's afraid the boy's not his, and so okay, here comes the results. You are not the father. Well, it could be this guy who signed the birth certificate. So they bring this guy out, and he doesn't want to be in the boy's life or anything like that. So here comes the results. You are not the father. It's like, whoa, okay. So, ouch.
How many men did she have to test?
I don't know. The clip just showed those two guys. But she was involved with the first guy, and he was just afraid that the boy was not his, and come to find out he was right. Now there's one of these body cam channels that I watch a lot. I just watched. They just released a new episode of their podcast, and I was watching that before show. It's called the Law and Crime Network, and one of their podcasts is Sidebar, so it kind of deals more with the legal stuff. And boy, this story is very disturbing. They didn't make it clear how long ago this happened, but a teacher, 28-year-old teacher, having an affair with one of her students, and of course gets pregnant. But nobody really knows what was going on until she gave birth, and then I believe they said it was this last December. The victim's dad went on Facebook and, of course, posted a comment saying just how weird the fact that this baby resembles him and his son. And that post got forwarded on to the principal of the elementary school, which got forwarded on to the police, and sure enough, she got arrested. because the victim was 12 years old.
Oh, man.
But here's how she did it. She became friends. She taught the boy, obviously, and she taught his older brother. But she became friends of the parents and actually would babysit them. They would go over to her house and she would babysit them, and they spent a lot of time over there. That's how she did it.
Oh, man.
That's not creepy at all.
Mm-mm.
That's disgustipating.
The brother talks about times that they were sleeping over there, and she would come into the bedroom and get in bed with the victim. The sister would talk about the times that the victim's in the shower. She goes into the bathroom, then locks the door.
And no one thought this was like weird or.
Well, I don't know how old the kids were, but I mean, yeah, I thought it was kind of weird the fact that she's a teacher, but she's all of a sudden becoming really good friends with the parents, and I'll babysit the kids while y'all go out and have dinner or something like that. That doesn't seem a little weird, doesn't it?
Yeah.
A bit.
So yeah, she's been arrested, and she's waiting trial. So, but it just yeah, the whole thing was creepy.
Mm-hmm. Very.
I'm just like, I can't imagine looking at a 12-year-old going, that's attractive. That's attractive. That's someone I want to spend time with and get intimate with.
Have a baby with.
I don't get it.
That is crazy. Special place in hell.
Well, a special place in prison too.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna have fun with her. But even as far back as when I was 28, I can't imagine. Like they're kids. There are even more kids now.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you hold a position that they're supposed to trust and respect you in.
Yeah.
To violate that, I mean,
well, and during this news story, they referenced one that said made media attention. I was like, I didn't hear it, and I'm kind of glad. But it's a very simple, it's a similar story. A teacher in her late 20s, not only having an affair with one boy about 12 or 13, but apparently a dozen.
Man.
And the same thing, she had a child, and the child looked like one of the victims.
All right, now you're just trying to out true crime Liz.
All right.
Well, at least we're not dealing with murder. Now you may want to kill them.
I stomach murder better than that, though. Right. You know.
It's just, I've not gone out of my way, but it just seems like I've been noticing it seems like when we hear these stories, at least recently, it's always the mid to late 20s.
Yeah.
Like they literally just got their license to teach, and they turn around and fucked it up by raping a minor.
Yeah. And what I hate is when you go to the comments and people are like, damn, where were teachers like this when I was in school? It's like, you sick fuck, you know? It doesn't matter how attractive they are or how ugly they are, if they're a man or a woman. If you abuse a child, and especially your power and position you have over them, it's fucking disgusting. Man or woman, it's fucking disgusting. This is when prison's too good for them, you know? They're like, oh, well, they need help. Yeah, you can't fucking make those people any better. There is no help.
Yeah.
Sorry.
There is no fixing stupid.
No, there's not. I mean, I honestly believe it's a sickness inside of people. There's.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. We're not talking about stupid. We're talking about illness.
Yeah.
There's some kind of imbalance that's telling them that this is okay, and
But they're above the law.
I don't know if they're even thinking about the law. They're thinking this person is sweet and all that, and I've developed feelings for them. I guess I think some of them are romantic, but there's some. Obviously, the other one is having had a dozen lovers.
God,
I think that's more. That's just more. Hey.
Yeah. See, how do you fix that? What proper amount of therapy would fix that?
We don't know how to fix any of that shit, much less the really depraved stuff like this.
Yeah,
Right.
you can't. I think there's just some things you can't. People are born with it, and it will always be there. You may train them not to act on it, but it's still in their mind. It's still there. I don't even know if you can train them not to act on it, because most of the time you read these stories and they're like, yeah, he was convicted, 20 years ago and just got out. Well, there's our problem. you know?
Well, I'm sorry to bring everything down, so let's go ahead and take a break, and then we'll get things on a lighter note. Right.
Well, somewhat lighter.
Knowing what our topic is.
More fictional, anyway.
Considering what our topic is, yeah. So we will be right back. Welcome back. Let's get into this week's discussion. The summer of 1980.
Oh my God, it was hot.
It was hot. There was a lot of questions going around in the air, especially in pop culture. Some of them we'll talk about here in the next few weeks. How's that for a tease? But the one we're going to be looking at this week this was a big deal, but I can't remember how much of it being a big deal was because that was how it was promoted, or if it was actually what people were talking about. And what I'm talking about here is the third season finale of the show Dallas, which was a primetime soap opera drama. And one of the lead actors, Larry Hagman, probably best known as Major Nelson from I Dream of Jeannie. But he was playing J.R. Ewing, who was the bad guy. Well, he was bad. He was bad. He was bad.
He was a bad guy.
He was not a nice man.
He was not a nice man. The episode ends with him being shot. So during the summer, everybody's trying to figure out who throwing out their theories on who shot him and all that. So, 45 years ago this summer. So let's talk a little bit about this. What do y'all remember? Or do you remember any of it?
I remember some of it. I remember when it was on, my parents watched it. 'Cause what year was this?
80.
This was the third season. It was 1980.
Yeah.
I think I watched it later.
But you weren't allowed to stay up that late?
Right. This may have been a little too much drama, you know.
When she was 5? No.
Right.
Strangely enough.
Which is weird. I think I remember Knots Landing more than Dallas. Wasn't that a spinoff?
Yes.
I believe so, yes.
Unfortunately, yes.
But I remember when they revealed who did it. Wasn't that like months and months later? And it was kind of getting to the point where it's like, okay, you have to tell us.
Yeah, it's not like they told us in the season opener. I mean, they waited a while.
Uh-huh. And then as soon as they told us who it was, we found her floating in a pool. So she didn't really have to face consequences for that. Or I could be remembering it wrong, but
I was going to say, was that the same person? I don't know.
I think
There
it
was a chick floating in the pool at one point, but I don't know if it was the same.
Because wasn't she the sister-in-law? Which was his ex-thing?
Yeah, what's her face? Blanking on the
Sue
name. Sue Ellen was his wife.
Oh.
Chris,
no, I don't.
No, Kristen.
Yes, it was Kristen Shepard, JR's scheming sister-in-law and mistress. JR did not press charges as Kristen claimed she was pregnant with his child as a result of their affair. Well, I did say this was a soap opera. I mean,
And then let me see how she died. Because I remember her dying. Oh, come on, Google. Don't be stupid. Okay.
This was a big deal. And I remember seeing it. I did not watch this show, but I was visiting my to-be in-laws, and they wanted to watch it, so we sat there and watched it. I found it very boring, and they kind of looked at me like, well, this is where you're from. No, this is not where I'm from. I don't know what you're talking about. Because I don't have a oil well, and I don't have cattle, things like that.
or a cowboy hat.
That is very true. Still don't.
Dallas was a very, very popular show.
Oh yes, yeah, no doubt.
I'm not sure if I've told y'all this story. But there was one year that my sister and mom went to London. This was like mid-'80s. They went to England, and I think they also went to France. I can't remember right now. But they had gone up to Buckingham Palace, and the guards, I can't remember what it's called.
Beefeaters?
The beef eaters, yes. Mom went up to one of them and it was wanting to try to get a picture taken. And at some point, somehow, it came out to where they said, they were from Dallas. And he was like, oh, my wife watches that show on the box. And because of that, she got a picture taken with him.
That's pretty cool.
It was it was popular over there in London or England.
Yeah. Any of my game friends that aren't American, the first thing they do when they find out that I'm a Texan from Dallas, oh, do you have any oil? Do you have any cows? And before I could answer no to both those questions.
Yeah.
But and these are like younger people too, so it's still kind of a
It's
thing,
still a thing, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It always surprises me. So it surprised me on vacation when they were like, oh, does everyone have a Texas accent like you? What? I don't have an accent. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I'm not a Texan. I was not born here. Y'all corrupted me. Although I kind of had to laugh because, yeah.
Well said.
I've been told a few times I sound like Sandy the squirrel, so.
I mean,
I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
good thinking.
you mentioned Dallas. There's going to be three things that are going to be conjured: this show, Cowboys, and JFK.
Yeah. But I don't get asked about JFK as much as I do about Dallas. It's always, oh, have you seen the ranch? Well, the ranch isn't in Dallas. There's no place for a ranch that size in Dallas. I don't think people understand that. Right. Dallas is all retail and residential. There's like no room for big, large plots of land in Dallas. The suburbs of Dallas, yes. Because I think, didn't they finally move to South Fork Ranch?
Yeah, South Fork. Yeah, I think it was South Fork that they did it.
Yeah, but I think at first it was a place in Frisco, wasn't it?
That I don't know.
Way before Frisco developed, so.
Big time. Yeah, South Fork is in Parker.
Yeah.
Which is kind of wedged between Plano and Wiley. For those who know. And honestly, at this point, 45 years on, it's pretty well built out up there. So,
yeah.
So it's much less ranchy than it used to be.
Yeah. And Dallas has much more nicer mansions now. South Fork used to be the prime,
Yeah,
and now you go down Preston Hollow and it's like, oh.
See, and I remember even back then thinking, man, that really just doesn't look like that nice a house. And I was a kid.
Yeah. I think the draw, especially the way they shot the opening sequence, wasn't so much the house, but all the land that it sat on. Especially in Texas, your land, I mean, that's where your property values and stuff usually comes from, is just the land that it's setting on.
Yeah, and the cinema, they made it. I mean, they intentionally made it so that it would turn it into a landmark.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the plan. That is why the owners of South Fork Ranch let them do as much as they did there.
Yeah.
Is to get put on the map.
See, and I think one of my in high school they did a prom or something there. Not my prom, but they did like a prom or something there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very touristy now.
It was touristy then.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, it's impressive that it's still even a little bit touristy because it's been so long.
Yeah.
I mean, the show was canceled in '91. They tried to do a reboot a little ways back, but it didn't go over.
Mm-mm. It didn't.
Oh, this is funny. I did not know this. Hagman wanted a raise because his character became so popular, and apparently CBS was going to replace him by saying he had to have facial reconstructive surgery, despite the fact being shot in the stomach. I'm like, okay, that's going to take some explanations.
I think they're trying to pull that off on Witcher, so you know.
Well, I'll have to do a conversion, but they says according to this that the new contract paid him $100,000 per episode, and then royalties from the JR merchandise.
Sweet pay if you can get it. I imagine that's a lot back then.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
He was one of the highest paid. And I think I saw by the end of Dallas, he was making $250. And in today's times, that would be like what Friends was making on their show.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was wanting. Let's see the comparison to Friends.
Yeah, I think they were making right at $1 million an episode.
Yeah, they were.
Each.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And all of this with JR from a character who wasn't actually originally intended to be a main character.
Right.
Yeah. Wasn't Bobby supposed to be more than he was?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. That was the heartthrob of the show.
Yep.
Who was that? Patrick Duffy?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. I remember that.
You remember the heartthrob, right?
I remember the heartthrob.
I'm a little surprised you don't remember the unscrupulous villain, but whatever.
Right. Well, I remember JR. I mean, he was the show, you know.
Right. Okay, 100,000 in 1980 is more or less 383,000 today.
I thought it would have been higher.
If I'm using the calculator right.
Think of it in more of a comparative sense. That was still probably he was probably still the highest paid actor in television.
In TV,
and that's still per episode. And this was back when they were doing 20-something episodes a season.
Yeah.
Close to 30.
So,
I think when things like Seinfeld and Friends and Big Bang Theory and that kind of stuff all came along, that's when we started seeing a shift in TV and them getting paid more. Because before, if you think about it, it was like a major step down to do anything on television because you got paid squat, you know. And now we're seeing a lot of our big name actors making TV appearances. I mean, heck, we just had Demi Moore and Landman.
Well, and TV is different now than it was even in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's made more like film now.
Yeah. Especially with things like Netflix and things that are doing originals.
Right.
I will say I did not score any points with my in-laws because I told them who did it.
Really?
Yeah. They said, well, how do you know that? I said, I just know. Actually, the trick was I read the trades and found that actress's her contract was over. So I said, well, that's who's got to do it.
Yeah. Whoever they're getting rid of.
Mary Crosby.
And she was the one who drowned it in the pool, by the way.
Okay. I just
They
wasn't
said
sure.
she was doped out on drugs, fell over the railing, and landed in the pool.
Yeah, JR couldn't possibly have pushed her at all.
Right.
He was trying to save the woman who shot him, put him in the hospital for months.
Oh, damn. Then she marries a guy who had the same blood type, which she couldn't pull that shit today, had the same blood type as JR, had his baby, came back and told JR it was his baby, and then he found out later on that she had miscarried their baby. Yeah, I don't think I'd like the girl. I don't think I'd like her at all.
I don't think I'd like the show. This is way too damn melodramatic for my
Right.
taste.
Wife, sister, or not, I don't think I'd like her.
This is funny. I was not aware of this either. Republicans distributed campaign buttons that claimed a Democrat shot JR.
Yeah,
That
it was an election year, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It was Carter and Reagan.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, didn't Reagan later on get shot?
He did. I
Yes,
doubt
but
it
it
was
was not-
related.
But it wasn't Larry Hagman, no.
Yeah.
No, they caught that guy pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did all for Jodie Foster.
Awkward.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I was young when all this was going on, and honestly, we had just moved here, so
Yeah.
we just moved here
I
that
would-
summer.
Yeah.
So I don't know for sure how big a cultural impact the show had in Dallas, but it always seemed to me like it had more of an impact everywhere else than it did here.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I was reading the room wrong. I was 8. I don't friggin' know. But it never seemed to be as big a deal. Like in the elementary school I was going to, it wasn't a big, nobody really cared about it.
Right.
I was living in Colorado at the time.
Thanks for making me feel old, folks.
Yeah, we do this every
I
week, you know that. It's part of our shtick now.
I mean, I just questioned how big it was because of the fact that it was promoted and marketed and all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, okay, how much of this was actually people really, was invested and wanted to know and all that type of thing, and then how much of this was marketing?
It was hype, right.
Yes,
Well,
hype.
they said 90 million people tuned in to watch this, which was
Right.
over half the TV viewing audience.
It was literally, this was the show that the final episode of MASH beat out as the most watched TV show. ever.
Right.
Yep.
That's true.
That episode, the episode where he was shot.
You got to remember that this led to other shows doing something similar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
The
mean,
Simpsons redid it.
Yeah. Twin Peaks did it.
I
Yeah.
think he was talking about ripoffs, not parodies.
Oh, okay.
Well, no, that's true too. That's one of them I was going to bring up.
Twin Peaks was another good one, though.
well, I thought you were talking about the fact that it was a cliffhanger, because that normally does not happen.
R.I.P. David Lynch.
Yes.
Yeah. I was just thinking that.
Or at least primetime shows wouldn't end the season on a cliffhanger.
Not until they saw it happen on that scale.
Right.
Yeah.
It became a lot more common after that.
Oh yeah.
Now it's the norm.
Norm.
Norm. Hey everybody.
Yep. Definitely redefined TV.
That show, I mean, it was on.
Find it. I don't know that it redefined it.
Not redefined it, but definitely, like they said, added to it.
It made an impact.
It added to it.
Yeah.
Because, that thought process was around a long time. How many times did you watch a movie Serial? They'd have the cliffhanger and somebody was shot or something like that. You had to wait till the next week to see the next installment.
Oh my God, the 66 Batman series. They did it every week.
Every
Well, that's
week.
true. Yeah, that's
Every
true.
single week. It was a shtick for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was around, but Dallas made it really big.
Well, but see, Dallas didn't come back and immediately tell us who did it. They kind of drug it out for a couple of months there to where,
Well, I think part of that was due to the contract thing with Hackman.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Didn't
easier
know
to
if they
keep
were
him
gonna
on the
bring
hospital
him
bed.
Let's tape his mouth just to be sure.
Because they were ready to replace him.
Yeah, they had to cover up his face because that wasn't him laying on the gurney.
Right.
What was the other pot boiler they had on Dallas?
The
God,
dream season.
that was a whole
Yeah.
series of. So they did 14 seasons of Potboiler. That was their whole thing.
Yeah, the dream season was when Patrick Duffy was found in the shower or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
God, that was boring. Oh.
Yeah.
yeah. By the time they revealed that one, I don't think anybody cared anymore.
Right.
And it felt more of a saving ass instead of a original storyline.
It was a jump in the shark.
Yeah. We were kidding, come back.
All right, our ratings are slipping. We need you back.
Yeah. We'll fix it.
And Duffy went on to play that great TV series. What was it, Animal Man or something?
Do what?
Is he the one who did Manimal?
Animal, yeah.
No, he did Man for Atlantis, but that was
Oh.
before Dallas.
That's right. Oh, was it?
Yes.
I guess it would
Man
have to have
in
been,
Atlantis
huh?
was like 74, 75, I think.
And then didn't he
75,
do a TV show with Susan Summers?
Yeah.
It was a sitcom or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to remember who was Manimal. Everybody's Googling.
Yeah, we are. Simon McCorkindale.
There you go. Who's in Jaws 3D, if
Hot
I'm not mistaken.
dog.
Huh.
Lasted 8 episodes.
Mm-hmm. Man who could change himself into any animal helps police solve crimes. I didn't even know this show was even on until I heard jokes about it.
Oh, now there's a connection. Les will love this connection. His co-star,
Mm-hmm.
Melody Anderson.
Yay! Yep, I see her.
Almost didn't recognize her as a blonde.
Yeah. You recognize that name, right, Les?
Oh, I'm not going to beat him over the head with it.
Okay, all right.
Sorry, you already have.
With William Conrad as the narrator.
Uh-huh.
What was the series that Suzanne Summers did? She's the sheriff or something?
Yes, that was one of hers, yes.
That was not the one that Patrick Duffy was in, I don't think.
No.
Okay, I was wrong. Man in Atlantis was 77. So it was just prior to Dallas. Lasted 17 episodes. Yeah, let me look real quick.
The sitcom was step by step.
There you go. I remember now. Step by step, inch by inch.
Slowly I turned.
Niagara Falls.
Go ahead, Liz. Tell us. How was that? Go ahead with the rest of the skit.
Step by step.
Oh, we got that part down. Okay.
That's the only part I know. Slowly I turned. I don't know.
We recently started watching those around the house here.
I think I'm about ready. It's been a bit. Is Dallas even shown anywhere now?
I think I saw it somewhere.
Check Paramount Plus.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
Actually, this
Who
is
gives a
Prime.
shit?
Huh?
Oh, this thing I'm looking at says Amazon Prime, but I actually kind of agree with Les. I have no desire to watch this again. I mean, I didn't watch a lot of it when I was a kid, but
Well, I didn't really watch it then.
yeah, not really my thing.
Yep, they got all 14 seasons. Oh, but they don't have the first season.
Well, then they don't have all 14 seasons, now do they?
Nope.
It was a 5-episode miniseries, honestly.
The first season was?
Mm-hmm. The reboot was in 2012.
I remember a reboot. I guess that's how well it did.
It lasted 3 seasons, apparently.
Oh, okay.
I'm shocked.
Me too.
Me three.
Several of the original cast came back.
Nice. Wonder if it was good as the Brady's.
I have no response to that.
Oh, come on.
I didn't see either of them.
I didn't either. I just kind of laugh at the whole prospect of the Brady Bunch being turned into an hour-long drama. Like, okay, whatever. So,
I mean, sure, why not, right?
I mean, there's worse things to do. Give them a variety hour. Have them sing and dance and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, they did that. Never mind.
Yeah, they did. Well, they were still trying to outdo the Partridge Family, so, you know.
I wish I had a chance to talk to Robert Reed. So I would go, okay, I grant you the plots of the show are horrible. I get it. I can see why you'd be pissed off about it, but why did you do the variety show?
Clearly there were enough zeros in the paycheck.
I guess so. Like, what the hell, dude? What the hell? Alrighty. I guess on that note, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. Take another break, and then we'll do Geek News for you. And we're back. It's time for Geek News for you. In this segment, we bring a couple news items to the table for discussion. This week, it's Les and myself. And Les, would you go first, please, sir?
All right, sir. my newsworthy discussion is about James Gunn. James Gunn has an update now concerning the MCU, or I'm not in. Jesus, what am I saying? DCEU stories that he's telling. Currently, they have the Superman movie and Peacemaker series up and running. Actually, they're under editing right now, but he was giving a little bit of insight as to what's coming up. And this is after the Creature Commandos hit HBO Max. And the thing he's facing now is people are asking him about the new titles that he's going to come out with will be comics accurate. And this is because people want just that. They want these new series to be accurate to the comics. There are some various things wrong with that thought, though, because do the people want, like, Wonder Woman showing up or being created in clay? Are they looking for her also to be not heterosexual? So it's kind of a iffy thing. He has a couple of comments about it, and he wants to tell people that he says comics accurate to me means staying true to the nature of the character, which is obviously subjective. So every adapter can do his or her best. To me, that is pretty much the thing. When Marvel came out with the Guardians of the Galaxy, that really wasn't comics accurate, but it was done by a series that was a melding, a takeoff of those characters, and that was pretty strong for them. It did a lot of money, plus 3 movies.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, they were in 4 movies, but things like that.
And a Christmas special.
I'm sorry?
And a Christmas special.
Yes, thank you very much. So it's interesting how he feels or how he reacts to this, and I wish him luck with it because DC has such an array of people, diverse people, that he and other creators can bring to the screen. So I'm hoping that it comes through with flying colors. No pun intended with Superman, but I just thought that was an interesting take of what's coming up.
It is.
It's a very diplomatic answer.
Mm-hmm.
Is
We're
or
pretty good at those.
Not a bad diplomatic answer, but it is a diplomatic answer.
his answer or mine?
His.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Good.
No, I said yes. Means both.
Now, wait a second.
Anyway.
Right. I mean, honestly, I like that he's in a very subtle way, trying to prepare people for the fact that no, it's not going to match the comics exactly. We're not gonna. I don't want to start this rant again, but we're not going to remake Flashpoint down to every single story beat.
Right.
Because nobody really wants that, and he figured that out, and he's learning from it and moving on, and that's good.
Alrighty, for my news item, something I think is very cool and intriguing or interesting that this is happening. This apparently started up on the 7th of January. It's going to be going on until Easter, around Easter. But in Germany, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 5 cities. Okay, there's 6 cinemas total that are offering, or what they're doing is they're offering free screenings to students age 12 and up and the teachers, and they are screening Schindler's List.
Really?
Yes.
It is.
It is free. They're saying the cinemas will be closed during these events, so it's just going to be just the students to watch the film. And it'll be. So I saw this and I was like, that's cool that they're doing this.
I agree.
It is.
Yep.
And it says around 17,000 pupils and teachers have so far registered as of this writing, which is this is the 16th, so it's been about 5 days ago. Schools actually come from areas surrounding our cinema locations, and there is still the opportunity to register even at short notice. The more pupils see Schindler's List, the fewer of them will vote the wrong way in a few years' time or very soon. Or talk to their parents. The next German elections will take place February 23rd. So.
Interesting.
That's win-win.
It is.
Apparently, though, there's some people that do not like it. It says, in response to the free screenings, there has been also hate speech across various online networks. Well, no shit.
Of course there is.
Of course.
Color me surprised.
Yeah, Liz, color him surprised.
Right. I get my markers.
One quote says, I deliberately don't want to call them social. The internet is the medium of cowards. You don't need a name or a face. That's how few misguided heads sound, which unfortunately didn't surprise us. So, yeah, so bravo for them to do this, because they're doing this, it's free just to the students to learn a little history and
with the hope of not repeating it.
Of not repeating history. Yes. Thank you. I was kind of sputtering for the right words to say. So.
When James was in middle school, the Holocaust Museum in Dallas was doing a thing for, they have a wall there that's made out of pennies, and every penny represents like a victim, So all year long, the kids collected pennies and stuff to donate down there to the museum. But I think that's one of the things that, of course, when they brought the donation in, they gave the kids the tour and everything else, and they did all the Anne Frank and stuff up to that point when they went. But I think that's the only thing that really grabbed his attention, because it was so hands-on and really made an impression, I think when you can do something different, like a whole movie theater to themselves, that's going to be something that just the experience alone they'll remember, that the subject matter would really, stand out because it was something special that they went and did. I like that.
Yep.
Good job.
All right. Any special shout-outs or mentions this week?
Nope, not me.
Not here.
Okay. All right. We'll go ahead and move on to our regular shout-outs. First of all, I want to thank Pop Goes the Culture for allowing us to be part of a great podcast network. We recommend that you check them out. There will be a link in the show notes. We also want you to check out the fine men and women who spread the word of the fellowship on Twitter or X by retweeting our links, and that is Pattern Family. And the best way to check them out is to go to Twitter/X, do a search, hashtag Pattern Family, all one word, and just scroll through whatever catches your eye. By all means, click and download that episode. I hope you have a great time listening to them. I want to thank Manny the Martyr for supplying the music to our podcast. In our show notes, you can find a link to where you can check out some of their other music. And finally, you, dear listener, thank you for downloading and listening to today's episode. We value your feedback. Any questions or comments, whatever, please send them our way. Email at thefellowshipofthegeeks.net is our email address. Or you can go to the website, go to the About Us page, and there's a contact form you can fill out. I think we mentioned it a couple of times, but we do have a Discord that's free to join. Discord's free to sign up, and the apps are free in the app stores. We do have open invitation on our homepage. We post a lot of news items, stuff for discussions, stuff to laugh at, all that types of stuff. We'll have activities on there. So come join us if you want to hang out with us. Social media, Facebook, we are the Fellowship of the Geeks. On Instagram, Twitter, and Bluesky, we are at Fellowship Geeks. If you want to follow our personal Twitter accounts, Mike can be found at Mikey Geek. Liz can be found at LN_Geek. Les may or may not be found at Fake Les Webster. And I can be found at TomTC Geek. And from wherever you download our episodes, if you'd be so kind as to rate and review the show, it would be greatly appreciated. Anything else before we say goodbye?
Just thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Appreciate you listening, and stay warm.
Mm-hmm.
Amen. Thanks for listening, everybody. We appreciate the support as always. Until next time, geek on, my friends.
We thank you for listening to the show. Comments, suggestions, and questions can be sent to email at thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. You can follow us on Facebook at The Fellowship of the Geeks and on Twitter at Fellowship Geeks. Until next time,